Hello everybody, today we are taking the 7th lecture of Learning English. Today we are talking about articles. This subject is really important when we speak or when we write something in English. Use articles in the following ways. First and second mention. Use a or an when you mention a singular noun for the first time. For example, Tokyo has a major problem with space. An alternative idea has been suggested. Use the when we refer to something that has been mentioned before. For example, Tokyo has a major problem with the space. At last, city planners are trying to solve the problem. It's after the first mentioning, second, third, fourth mentioning, or anything after the first mentioning. Why? Because it would be an obvious noun. Don't use an article with general, plural, countable nouns. And when we mention a plural noun for the first time, for example, scientists still haven't found a way to deter meteorites. Satellites will be launched into space. Scientists will then use the satellites to look for alien life. We used the here because it's after the first mentioning. Known things. Use the when there is only one of something. We call it a unique noun. For example, the Earth's moon is a natural satellite. Engineers are designing a train which will travel under the city. Set uses. Use the with the names of some countries. For example, the United States, the United Kingdom, the Netherlands. Use the with the names of geographical features. For example, the Baltic Sea, the Pacific Ocean, the Amazon, the Alps. Use the with superlatives. For example, is the largest engineering project of its kind. Use a or an when talking about a job someone does. For example, I'm a teacher. She works as a lawyer. Don't use an article with the names of towns and cities and most countries. For example, you have Venice, Paris, Tokyo, Japan, and China. Let's take other rules about them. Use the definite article the. We're referring to something that is already known to the listener because it has been mentioned before. For example, so I showed the photos to the police. I've mentioned these photos before. This is the meaning of it. We're referring to something that is already known to the listener because it's obvious from the context. For example, I forgot to give the cat her supper. It's obvious I'm talking about my cat. This is the meaning of it. When something is unique, including superlatives and first, last, next, only. She is the greatest sportswoman. When a defining or prepositional phrase makes the noun specific. For example, it's the house at the top of the street. We also call this specification. When we specify a smaller group from a bigger group. Before the names of some geographical features, buildings and places. For example, I live in the countryside, not the town. Use the zero article, that means no article. Before abstract nouns. You can't stop time. before general plural nouns. Computers are very powerful now. But if the abstract or plural noun is made specific by a defining phrase, we use an article. For examples, the computers we've just bought are fantastic. Now let's talk about this point. What's the difference between computers are very powerful now and the computers we've just bought are fantastic? The first one, computers are very powerful, we are talking in general, about computers in general. But here, in the second sentence, the computers we've just bought are fantastic. It specifies which computers we are talking about. For example, I will give you another example, which is not written here. Let's say, students are intelligent. I'm talking about students in general. But if I say the students of grade 12 are really intelligent, I've specified which students, so I've added the article. Okay, let's go on. Before people's names and the names of most companies, materials, countries, mountains, and lakes, we don't add an article. For example, Alexandra lives in Italy. She lives near Lake Como. She works for Deutsche Bank. Before the names of types of institutions, for example, school, hospital, university. My brother is about to start school. But if we are referring to a particular building, that means there is a specification here. We use the definite article. Excuse me, is this school near here? Here we are just specifying. That means I'm talking about a specification here, a specified building. Okay, we come to the end of our lesson for today of learning English. Thank you very much. Wish that you enjoyed it and got the benefit of it. If you have any questions, please ask them in the comments. Write them in the comments. If you have any criticism, write it in the comments too. That was Mr. Haidar Qasir with you. Thank you very much. Wish you all the best. If you liked it, don't forget to press the button of subscribe and to follow my channel if you think that you are getting benefit of. Bye everyone.